Hello people, how's it going? Welcome back to 200 Days in Hardcore Amplified. If you haven't seen the first 100 days, I highly recommend you go and watch that first so you get yourself caught up. There's also a second video where I covered the last 11 days that I missed. So, I'm feeling pretty good after surviving 100 days, so this video will not be as long. I'll just be covering the entirety of the more important highlights, rather than just saying, oh, I went and got more wood. Also, according to YouTube statistics, only a small part of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, so if you did enjoy the video, then consider subscribing. It'll really help me grow in the future. Anyway, let's do this. Day 100 was just checking the villager rules. I checked twice and got nothing. It was already towards the end of day 100 when I loaded in. For day 101, I started on a sheep farm. I dug out a nice entrance, filled it up with some wooden fences, and filled out the rest, making space. I connected it to the outside and began filling it with dirt so the grass would grow inside. As it became night on day 101, I made the auto sugarcane collector more automated and actually efficient. Day 102, I finally filled in the sheep pen with dirt, and as I was getting birch woods to make some chests, this was what I got on the villager roll. I'm gonna see if I can stream for longer than 3 hours. That's usually what I do. Oh! We finally got it! We finally got the mending roll! Oh my god, that took like 60 in-game days. We finally got the mending roll. This was by far the biggest highlight of day 102. That's all I can say. I also fixed my sugarcane farm and made it so it actually collected the things properly where I could access the chest without the water flowing out. There we go. Day 103, I got my first mending book and put it on my netherite pickaxe, starting my journey of getting my full mending set. Boom. There we go, we have mending. We have our first mending tool. One of my biggest ways of getting mending easier was to use my most valuable source, sticks. I had a Fletcher from the previous video and he sold me 2 emeralds for a stack of sticks, and since I grew spruce trees a lot, that resulted in almost 30 emeralds per spruce tree. Very profitable. Oh yeah, I'll also get to treating this zombie villager a bit later on in the days. Well, actually the next day I just hunted for some apples and then got one and decided to work on getting them healed. Because I really wanted to get that second that villager you saw healed. Oh, there we go, nice. And I think I have a spider eye. So while waiting for night, I got some emeralds, got my second mending book, and put it on my diamond sword. I spent the rest of day 104 in the nether grabbing gold for the golden apple. I also made sure to grab some quartz for the mending experience to repair my pickaxe. When I came out of the portal, it was nighttime on day 105. Day 106, did some more trading with the Fletcher and got mending on my chest plate. Day 107, I finished my downwards water elevator. Raid Pog, where did you come from? Hey. Okay, I'll just RKO him onto the ground then. I also used the blackstone I get to finally finish off the roof of the smithing house that I made a long time ago. I killed a spider for its spider eye, but it turns out I already had some potions of weakness made. I also made my catwalk's roof look a little nicer with the remaining blackstone I had. Day 108, I finally made a lead and finally got around to healing up the zombie villager. Right. There we go. I spent a bunch of day 108 at the mob farm I made while he heals. After about maybe 5 to 10 minutes, he was healed, so I began moving over to his new home and his new occupation of a farmer. After some quick trades with the Fletcher again, I moved him into his new home and began looking for sheep to make a bed out of their wool. Day 109 started with me obtaining mending on my netherite helmet. I then swapped out all the dumb sand on my auto farm for sugarcane with some nice clear glass. And I used blocks so the falling sugarcane wouldn't get stuck on the little bit that stuck out from the pins. I finally found a sheep, so I got it in a boat and then started bringing it back and got it set up in its new home. Later on that day, I found a treasure map for another buried treasure, but it didn't take me until the end of the day when I returned to base to figure out where exactly it was. I went to sleep, and then the next day I set sail and found the island, and then started digging up the chest, and once again the chest was packed with loot. It's worth it to go for these chests. Get out of here. If you remember the villager that I healed and brought into the new home, he became a farmer and he was selling potatoes. So I spent the rest of day 110's evening just grabbing potatoes and then selling them to him until he was out of sock or emeralds to give me. Second to level up. Here we go. Oh my god, pumpkins for one a melon? One a pumpkin? Dear god. And the final highlight of the day, I was killing a drowned that was just nearby the spawner while I was waiting for some mobs to drop, and when I turned around, I was attacked by a drowned carrying a trident. This was my first time encountering this. Oh, I didn't drop it. As you know in the game, trident wielding drowned have a very low chance to drop a trident. So I wasn't expecting to get it on my first try. I then went to sleep for day 111. Day 111 kicked off with me getting mending for my leg armor. Later on I caught a sheep in a boat and made my way back home, moving it in with my other sheep. I grabbed some wheat, bred some cows, and then went to sleep. Woke up the next day and bred the sheep. Time for more of those sweet, sweet profits. Mending on the boots acquired. I combined the two fishing rods together. Towards the evening I started on another farm platform under the other house I built and slightly cleared out the area behind it. Tried making an automatic stone furnace. It didn't work, so I gave up and went to sleep. I took it down the next day and went Fortress. Into the Nether. I'm just saying this right now as there's not much that happened. From day 113 to day 116 and part of day 117, I was making a giant nether brick platform to spawn wither skeletons to get those skulls so I can finally spawn the wither. My goal was to make a beacon so I could increase my mining efficiency down below and help me get more diamonds and iron in the future. I grabbed a bunch, and I mean a bunch of nether bricks, and I started making the platform. It was a large platform when it was finished. I cleared out the nearby blaze spawner to increase the chance of them spawning. I hadn't even finished it and it already showed much better results with skeleton spawns. Oh my god, look at this! They're actually starting to spawn now. Rather impressive. Right, let's... We got one! One! We've got one! We have achieved spookiness! Unfortunately, that was the only one I would get in my entire attempt at farming for now. I would return later to try and get the rest of the skulls. After clearing out those wither skeletons, I finished this part of the platform and it came out looking very nice. After lighting up parts of the fortress, I made my way back home, actually discovering a quicker way to get back to the portal to and from the fortress. I also made a temporary path that would help me traverse the soul sand a little bit better without being slow. I mined some quartz so the experience can repair my gear. I returned to the surface as the sun was setting on day 117 and then went to sleep immediately. I spent all of day 118 just sorting through all my trash. I spruced the door frame with some quartz, made a diamond axe, and then spruced up the basement with some nether bricks and some nice quartz. The next day, I put mending on my diamond axe. I spent more of day 119 just sorting through more of my trash, with one of the keynotes of the day making a dispenser. More amazing profits. Towards the end of the day, a guy in my Twitch chat actually told me that the torches were blocking the bookcase's effectiveness on the enchantment table. So shout out to Dadius in chat. All of day 120 was just sorting through the trash. Nothing entertaining happened that day. I guess apart from putting feather fallings on my diamond boots, but that was it for day 120. Day 121, I finally decided to upgrade my librarian and got a flame book. I grabbed a bunch of sand and decided to make some TNT for blasting in the nether. Day 122 started off with me putting mending on my shield and breaking my anvil. Oh, now I really need to get iron. Once again, we're going back to the nether. I spent day 122 to 125 in the nether, once again hunting for wither skulls, but I started off by blowing up a choke and getting 4 ancient debris, resulting in netherite leggings later on when I returned. I would not have seen this. I took a short break to do some trades with the piglins and got not many items, but what I did get was soul speed free, and that was very useful to me. I spent the majority of my time at the fortress on the platform I made for the wither skeleton skull farm, however I was not lucky. But I do have this pretty funny highlight of me killing the ghast. Come on, out into the middle of this nice platform and die! Don't you try, don't you dare, you get back here right now. What's those spectral arrows? I am so good at this game! I am so good at this game! Unfortunately, I didn't find any skulls, so I just made my way back, grabbing some quartz for some mending experience, and then went to sleep, and woke up on day 126. I made a grindstone, and then decided to disenchant the pickaxe under the recommendation of a viewer in my Twitch chat, which turned out to pay off later on. I finally upgraded my diamond leggings to netherite leggings. I spent the rest of day 126 sorting out more of my items. Day 127 I went back to the nether and then built up the gold nugget farm and the XP grinder as well. I got the fence up and I hit the pigments to test it out, and it turned out it was working perfectly. I spent most of day 128 here, even had the anomaly of regular zombies showing up at this grinder somehow. What the fuck? What are normal zombies doing here? What? What are these guys doing here? I returned back to the overworld and went to sleep. Day 129 I made some more bread and back to the grinding for the levels. I went right through you. I'm classifying that as a kill. That went right. Yep, still here. Finally, after a long time I returned. It was nighttime, but I finally got the pickaxe upgraded with the efficiency 4 and unbreaking free. I just now had to find iron to actually make an anvil to put on the mending. I spent the first half of day 130 in the strip mine that I already had, but had no real luck. I did manage to find some lapis though. I left as it was becoming nighttime. I made a quick profit, and the next day I set sail for a new place to mine. And it turned out to be a good idea. I found a good stack of iron. I even found a mine shaft, but unfortunately one of the diamonds got lost in lava. Oh no, really? I grabbed some extra resources and then made my way back home. Day 132, got the anvil made and immediately put mending on my new pickaxe. I also spent some of the day breeding my cows, chickens and sheep. I began work on my first attempt at a villager breeder. I've never done one of these before, so this was to be interesting if it worked. The next day I got the platform mainly finished and got some walls up. Alright, this is coming along okay. I spent the rest of day 133 chopping down some spruce trees. Started off day 134 with more profits. I spent all of day 134 grabbing some sand for glass in a later project. I even grabbed some iron while I was here. Yeah, I really did just spend 20 minutes of my life digging sand. I started off day 135 grabbing a flame book from my librarian and then putting it on my bow. I jumped around on my chests like an idiot while waiting for the glass to finish smelting. I made a cartography table and began building a new home for a new villager. After all, if I was going to get Totems of Undying, I would need a cartographer to give me a woodland mansion map so I could find the invokers. I did up some more of the roof of the villager breeder for the future, but I didn't complete it. I started off day 136 by making a second bucket for flooding the end. I then went to the village and kidnapped the villager and brought him back to put into the new home. The next day I immediately started work on upgrading the cartographer by buying some paper, selling paper and buying some empty maps from him. I also got raided by another Twitch streamer with 23 viewers. I'm just going to use this opportunity to let you know, hey, you should follow me on Twitch. That's when I live stream my playthrough of these 100-day survivals. People.
Neither does this bomb, which exploded 20 seconds ago, according to the unforgiving nature of time.
Now this is truly a gamer moment. I'll put a link to Manny's Twitch in the description below since he helped me get a couple new followers that day. So thanks Manny, this one's to you. I immediately made my way to the stronghold and went to the end and begun my flooding process. I didn't know exactly when I entered the portal. It was nighttime, so I didn't know if it was daytime by the time I touched it. So from this day, I'm going to assume it is day 138. And this lasted about a long time, from day 138 to day 151. So, and that's a lot of stuff to cover. So I'm just going to break it down to certain highlights. So yeah, today's stream is a very good stream. What I'm doing right now, Alex, is covering the entire end in water, so Enderman will spawn up at the farm I'm building. Well, I've got the general. Oh, they're starting to spawn up though. So it is starting to work. I just need to get an Endermite. I need an Endermite name tag, fence. I have to be super awkward here, because not only am I fighting the thing. Ow. That was interesting. I'm also fighting the flow physics. But yeah, if I'm not over there, then more should spawn up here. No, I don't think he hit me. Look at this guy, by the way. He's in this 1x1 block radius. If he moves, he's gonna be hurt. It's quite funny. $2,818 times. We're gonna keep racking up that number. I do really like how the water towers look. They look very nice. If you also want to know, by the way, Daddius, about how insane this has been today, I've done this entire stream without playing any music. I also finally got a weather choke set up under the end portal after looking up a tutorial. Alright. Essentially now, we just gotta expand the platform so they can start spawning up there. But to do that, I'll need more stone. Finally, after all the work, I returned home and went to sleep. On the morning of day 151, I upgraded the librarian to yet another level. I spent the rest of day 151 sorting out through all the stuff and upgrading my cartographer, getting me an ocean exploration map. And now, there we go, he's selling me pains. And we got an ocean map! Ooh. The morning of day 152, I just put a couple of maps up on the wall. I then decided to chill at the mob drop for a while, and I was planning on upgrading it at some point in the future. I grabbed some ink sacs from the squids because my librarian was buying them for 1 per emerald. I sold him the ink sacs and he leveled up, and he was now selling a name tag, which was important to building the Enderman farm. The next morning though, I found out that some baby zombies broke in and infected the librarian. However, I then hunted for golden apples because I knew the prices would be even cheaper. And after a while of searching, spending most of day 153 looking for them and chopping down trees, I finally got an apple, which I then rushed back and turned into a golden one. And then did the usual potion of weakness and golden apple to revive him. While waiting on him to be revived, I went down and did more stick trading. The next day he came to, and oh boy, look at all those sweet, sweet prices now. What a absolute bargain. This essentially meant I have infinite books and emeralds now. I got a name tab and gave it a fitting name for the endermite that I would use as the bait for my trap. and then started gathering a lot of stone and cobblestone while also strip mining for some extra iron and other resources. I even managed to find some diamonds during the strip mine. It was day 155 when I left the mine. I started putting up the auto smelters by lining up 2 hoppers full of cobblestone. I put dirt on the fence to stop zombies from getting in to reach the villager again. I then remembered I had a brain and then actually made an auto sorting system so the finished stone would go into the shulker boxes using some additional hoppers I had laying around. All this smelting did take a while. The next day I started work on a platform for a new farm, a carrot farm. The reason why was because one of the baby zombies that I killed that infected the villager dropped a carrot. And this was very useful as it meant now I could start growing more food. I took a break from building to thin out the herd of cows to get some extra leather, but by the time I was done I cut down some more trees and then went to sleep. The next day I got the farm dirt all put down and I finally finished the house of the villager breeder, but I still haven't got any villagers in there yet. Towards the end of the evening, it was getting late, so I grabbed up the shulker boxes because I was ready to go and start extending the platform a bit more for the Enderman farm. The next day I went and set up a link portal. I did this by going into the end through my original portal, taking a screenshot of the coordinates and then going to the end portal and building a second portal. Taking the screenshots of where the portal is, doing some math, and then moving through the end from my portal to set up the portal in the Nether that would take me to the portal in the end. Well, I may as well go through it and see what happens. Oh, there we go, it worked. That's very nice. I also got my first ever Twitch sub while I was building the portal. Oh shit. Epad with the gifted sub. The first subscriber of the game. I spent all of day 60 in the end just fixing up, tuning up and extending the platform, and didn't get any luck trying to spawn the endermite so I would have the bait ready. I spent a lot of day 161 just killing piglins at the farm. I even got to a point where just regular zombies were starting to spawn in the Nether now. Oh yeah. Look at all, we're just getting regular zombies now. That's all we're getting. We've just got regular zombies in the Nether. It's gotten to that point. They're literally spawning just there and walking at me. Like, really see, one will spawn probably over there. It didn't spawn. I left the Nether on day 162. I started growing the carrots and making my carrot farm a highly profitable area. Speaking of profits, here's some more for you. I also bought a bunch of cookies and a few apple pies to upgrade them to the last level so that he would buy a bunch of pumpkin pie and cookies off him. Right, he's leveled up. Oh yeah, golden carrots. With that celebratory victory done, I decided to go straight to sleep for the next day. I start off day 163 by immediately upgrading the sharpness on my sword. 163. I also made a diamond shovel later. I made a brewing stand and then started making another room for a cleric. The next day I yanked a villager from the village yet again and got him up and set up as a cleric in his new home. I spent some of the night just lighting up the place around the farm. I spent some of the next day lighting up the roof of my house because things were still spawning on top of it. I leveled up first to see what he's selling. He started giving me lapis, so my lapis problem was sorted. I then gave some gold to the villager and that resulted in him now selling me ender pearls, so I bought quite a few in preparation for my long wait and getting the endermite for my enderman farm. After some trades, I got enough experience to finally get the efficiency 4 on my diamond shovel, but I also got quite a few extra rolls, which turned out to be rather lucky. Now that is an enchantment on the diamond sword. I immediately got mended and put it on it. During day 166, I finally decided to start going into the Nether and then netherite mining with my pickaxe. I returned the next day and started smelting the netherite that I had acquired. I then turned my boots and my sword into netherite equivalents. I didn't have looting free though, so I kept going around until I got a looting free roll for a fresh diamond sword I made. No surprises if you can guess why I was for day 167 and the part that I went through day 168, I believe. I came back when it was nighttime for day 168 and just look at this roll I got from the enchantment table. It's actually unseen. Still have looting? We do? Give it that loot. Holy shit! Oh my god, Darius! Look at this shit! What? What is that enchantment? That is an insane enchantment. After gushing about the enchantments on the sword, I put Sweeping Edge and Mending on it to finish it off. Day 169, before I started doing some more XP grinding on the Piglin farm, I made a frame for my first ever Neverite sword, or first ever diamond sword, and put it on the wall, and then I went on in. I was delayed for about 10 to 15 minutes because the Piglin still had aggro on me somehow from my last visit. When the aggro cooled off, I finally set up the gold sword smelter underneath the farm. I also had a bit of a small brain and actually went to the end portal rather than to the fortress that I was planning to do. I started off my Enderman farm building by having good success by finally getting an Endermite to spawn. I got it named and trapped in a cart and now it was in position. And whenever I removed the water that went down, it turned out to result pretty well. So all I had to do later on was build some nice hoppers to grab all the pearls. I then made a tunnel from the obsidian platform to the farm so I wouldn't have to traverse the water above that I've spent so long flooding. I then finally finished off the rest of the platform with endstone, so it would increase the chances of spawning on it. I also got the hoppers up as well, so now the ender pearls were actually being collected. I still had to fix it with some carpet later on though. The next day I upgraded my cartographer to give me woodland exploration maps, so I had a place to go to get Totems of Undying. I went to the Nether yet again, and this time I actually went to the fortress and began staying there and farming for some wither skulls with my new sword. Oh nice, got another one. Good, perfect. During the beginning of day 173, I got the final wither skull and immediately made my way back to the portal. Alright, we're done. We can get out. I grabbed the remaining skull that I had for a while, and then some soul sand, made sure I was organized, and then went straight through the Nether to the end portal. In the end, I set up the soul sand and the wither skulls, and it went pretty smoothly. It works! We have a star! We can finally make a beacon, and we have a wither! We got a wither rose too! Now I can actually make a wither skull farm. I returned home and immediately went to sleep. The next day I immediately looked up how to build a beacon and got it built. I spent the rest of day 174 farming, cutting down trees, and doing some more villager trades. And some of the night of day 174 just doing some enchantments, rolling. Day 175 I set up some spots for melons to grow next to the villagers. I spent the rest of day 175 just getting some more emeralds to make more emerald blocks for the beacon. I started off day 176 by just making a new area for the newest villager. He was going to be my Silk Touch. I went out, got him in a boat, and rode my way back, and it only took a couple of rolls before I actually got Silk Touch on the same day. Oh, perfect. We got Silk Touch almost instantly. Excuse me. I even built an archway and made a doorway now, so the villagers are actually a lot more safer from baby zombies. Day 177 started off with me getting Silk Touch on the pickaxe, and I put it to good work. I spent all of day 177 down in the mine, gathering some stone and other resources. Day 178 I made my way up to the top of the mob farm and put in some new trapdoors for a second layer I was making. The next day I spent most of it getting the walls up and the roof up so the mobs would spawn there, and then I opened the trapdoors and then left. Day 179 I bought a Woodland Explorers map, but I spent a couple of days looking for it. Without any luck, it was very far away, and I would need a fast mode of transport to get it. I did find a portal along the way, however, so I went into it and took note of its coordinates. Let me just screenshot this so I can save its coordinates. With no luck on finding the mansion, I returned on the morning of day 182. I spent the majority of day 182 doing some more profits. For the rest of day 82 until day 185, I went to the end and hunt for an actual ship for the Elytra. Oh yeah, almost died like an absolute idiot as well, because I forgot how ender pearls work. Perfect. Oh my god, that is the stupidest thing I've ever done. Okay. Day 183. Almost died. Never doing that again. Never in a million years am I going to do that again. Oh yeah, I'm in the end. Dummy. The loot inside these end cities right now were actually nuts. We got lots of protection, even some mending armor, which was actually insane. Eventually though, not long after this city where I almost died, I found a ship, and my reaction speaks for itself. We got a ship! We've got an Elytra! Okay, remain calm. I scaled and battled my way through a rather large amount of shulkers and then boarded the ship and claimed my prize. Get down here. And health potion, very nice. The loot inside the ship was just as nuts as what I got in the end cities. And then once I picked up the Elytra and the dragon head, I finally experienced what every hardcore player feels whenever they take flight in an Elytra for the first time. Oh, it feels so good to finally be flying. It feels so good. Oh my. Oh. Oh. On day 184, we finally have achieved flight. Day 185 was relatively boring for most of it. I put up the dragon head and the Elytra on the walls for now until I had the means to make the Elytra more of a permanent use, and then I spent the rest of it just sorting all my loot from the ender chest. During the evening of day 185, I went down and finally set up the beacon. Of course, I realized it needed to have an open roof above it for the beam to actually work, so I spent the rest of the night digging that up and getting it working. There we go, it's now working. The next morning, I put up some glass blocks on the beam path as I found out that the beam just goes right through them. So I had more safety in the smithing room in case I accidentally fell down that one hole. It's the hourly profit section of the video. Okay, big moment on day 186, my first time trying to set up villagers for breeding. So I dug out a hole in the wall and I passed them some bread and potatoes. Not sure how it would work. I put in an extra bed as I know there has to be an extra bed for the young villager to claim it. The next day I had no result, but it did spawn an iron golem, the first time I've seen it happen. Oh, an iron golem spawned though. I spent the majority or all of day 187 just trying to get these villagers to breed before I started moving them into the breeder house. One thing I did do on day 187 was make a collection of rockets, 1.5 stacks of rockets for my Elytra travels in the future. For now though, it was mostly just for getting around the place a bit quicker. I also put unbreaking, free and mending onto my Elytra. The first test fight was rather glorious. Success in the villager breeding department. We have our first child. Okay, it works. It just takes 5 years. I set up a new entrance for the villagers to be brought in and started finally putting the windows on and got it complete. Day 189, I finally caught the elusive villager and got him transported over to the breeder area. I also started work on the next layer of my beacon to upgrade it further. When I came back to check on the boat to see if I caught the second baby villager, it turns out there was another one, so 2 of them were chilling together in the same boat. I then broke the boat and captured the villager trying to escape, and then brought him over to the breeder to join his fellow villager in the future. Day 190, I set up some composters in the breeder house to make sure I have some more people to sell my food to. I spent the rest of day 90 just setting up some other things, such as the boat for the next villager to be brought out, as he was waiting in the room, and just sorting through my chests in my storage. I cleared out some skeleton spiders in the breeder and then lit it up properly. I even put in a fence later on that would also help with stopping them from escaping. In the evening, I brought over the villager I had caught. He had grown up, and then I got the villager that escaped back in as well to safety. It's day 191, and remember those beetroot seeds I got from the ant? Well, I'm making another platform for them. It took me all of day 191 to get all the wood and build the platform, and then the following day I got the dirt and water in. I spent the majority of day 192 also getting some more dirt placed in, and then I finally planted my first beetroots. This is my beetroot farm. I then made a diamond hoe and put mending on it so I wouldn't have to make any more in the future. And towards the end of day 192 I got all the dirt tilled. Day 193 I made a new shulker box and collected all the carrots that had grown and all the potatoes that had grown and stored them in to be brought to the villagers. Safe to say I was basking in the profits today. Day 194 was even more profits, but I even turned one of the villagers in the breeder into a stonemason, which would benefit me in the future. I immediately went out to get some clay and upgrade them to accept regular stone for emeralds at this next level. Day 195 I put the elytra back on the wall because I didn't feel I was ready for it yet. That and it didn't have the protection enchantments I needed before I went out exploring. Okay, big moment here. Someone in my Twitch chat redeemed a renovation, and since I had nothing to do, I began work on renovating the house. I got rid of all the wood and started replacing it with stone bricks. I spent the rest of day 195 up to day 199 renovating the house. I had these very nice looking archways on the side walkway to the librarian, and then I decided, you know what, I'm going to give the librarian a bit more space in a couple of days. Also, I added a couple more emerald blocks I had to the beacon to upgrade it. The new stone look was coming along quite well, so I decided to put some more stone stairs on the roof of my house to give it a nice stony look. Started work on renovating the basement into stone now, and it turned out pretty nice. Remember the librarian that I finally got mending on a while ago? Well, I decided to reward him since he's been with me the whole time, so I decided to upgrade his room and give him a bit more space to move around in. I even gave him some bookcases that I bought off him for him to read. There we go. Got a nice room. Also, the room I was digging out around the villager as well, that'll be revealed in a couple of minutes. But for now, it was back to renovation on the house, replacing most of the wood with stone. I even upgraded the enchanting room and replaced the floor with quartz bricks. I finished off the stone roof in my house and decided to work on the new room where the dragon head and all the armor would stand. I even got some new stone stairs input to the basement. I placed down some armor stands, but then I realized I was not having the stone bricks, so I immediately got to work getting those placed down. This was day 199. Done. Okay, day 200, the final day for the video. We started out by taking a look at the new room and then filling in. I also took a break from renovation to give the villagers some bread to start breeding. Pick it up and do what you did. I went and got the armor stands and put them down and immediately spent some time bringing the armor over, and this was what it looked like. The many different armor stands. The armor that I placed under the dragon head was my first ever iron armor set, if you remember back in the 100 days video, so it deserves its special place under the head. It's getting late, so on day 200, or the night of day 200, I finally decided to give the librarian a name. And I had one thanks to a viewer joining in at the time of the stream. Actually, Atreyu, I'm going to name him after you, because since you are here on this momentous occasion of 200 days of hardcore survived. I got the name down, and now that Twitch viewer is immortalized in my Minecraft world. A baby zombie almost snuck its way in to infect him, however, but I killed it quickly. You're not touching him. You are not touching him. And then I watched the sunrise, ending 200 days of survived Minecraft hardcore. I just want to say a big thank you to all the people who watched the 100 days video and helped it really take off. I also want to thank everyone who joined me on Twitch. The Twitch links will be in the description or in the comments, in the pinned comment. My Discord will also be there, so if you want to be alerted for any other time I am streaming 100 days challenges or playing with other people, be sure to join my Discord. And with that, I just want to say thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe and share it around. Since this is a popular trend, I'm going to get good at it, because I have definitely been learning new things while playing hardcore. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.